On this week's Hot List, pay to pass. Officials in Jakarta say electronic road pricing is finally coming. Will it help relieve traffic jams or just piss people off? Double duty. The cabinet minister handling government businesses runs for and wins the top soccer job. Can Erick Thohir do both? And deep fried favorite, why this Indonesian dessert is the best in the world. Hello and welcome. This is Hot Indonesia. I'm Dalton Tanonaka in Jakarta. Here are my co-hosts. Let's get to it. Linda Ibrahim, writer, business consultant, and news junkie. And Karanina Sunny, entrepreneur, Miss Indonesia 2009, and good daughter. Hot topic number one, pay to pass. It's been talked about for nearly 10 years as a way to relieve Jakarta's growing traffic congestion. Electronic road pricing, ERP, automatically charges motorists a fee through sensors in each vehicle for traveling on designated streets. Under the latest plan in the capital, 25 roads will have ERP from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, charging from 5,000 to 19,000 rupiah or 33 cents to $1.32. The idea, of course, is to get residents to take public transportation or get out of their vehicles and maybe take a walk. Nina, first to you. It works in places like Singapore. We all see how it works there. Can it work here?
Well, I think if they're trying to mimic the system that Singapore has in place, they're missing some basic elements, which is if you're going to replace private transportation, you need to have a proper public transportation system set up. And while there are MRTs and buses, it's not set up in totality the way that Singapore is, where the routes reach almost every single street, or they have options where people can drive and park, safely park their own private vehicles or motorbikes to then take the public transportation, where that part is not set up here. So maybe people who do want to be mindful of traffic or just more economic wise, they want to take public transportation, but it's not convenient because there's the parts missing from where they get from their house to where the public transportation begins. So that part needs to be worked out before they just start levering tolls and fees on people passing certain areas, because all that's going to do is just charge people more money, but where is that money going to? And then it's not going to solve the traffic problem because the people who can afford cars
and there'll be protests.
Could probably afford the toll fees anyway.
So infrastructure has to catch up, of course. And of course, there's a mindset and the attitude, which is what I want to talk about a bit later. But, Linda, as you know, we've had other traffic control remedies or so-called remedies, such as the 3-in-1 carpool requirement and the ongoing odd-even license plate days on major roads. But I think, those who use cars can probably afford ERP fees.
Yes. Then they will. And they will do that. And the way that they cheated out of the system of the odd-even number, it's going to get a second car. And they can afford to even pay the hefty tax that goes to the second or the third car. So if they could afford to do that, they can afford to do this, Because like Nina said, there is no comfortable, convenient alternative in place. So I disagree when the way you put it is that infrastructure has to catch up. No, infrastructure has to be there first. Then
no, I know, but in our case, it now has to catch up because we're going to implement
this. They've had to catch up for the past, 25 years. They haven't done that.
No, you remember, even Governor Ahok talked about implementing, Sandy Uno talked about it. It's going to happen this year, next year, and it never happens.
And you know what? What I really don't like about all these public officials doing all these policies when it comes to public transportations, they themselves do not use public transportations. They got motorcade, opening the roads for them. I work for a government official once, and when I was working there, and I enjoyed the service, so I know how could detached they be from the reality, because even all of the red light stop signs go green for them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say, you people, you take the public transportation, you sir, you do first lap.
Okay, let me see. Vote them out.
Let me see how you do it from your private residence to your office every morning, for 3 months, and come talk to us,
On any given day, Jakarta is home to approximately 10 million people, give or take people commuting in and out.
Actually, 12, I guess.
Yeah, but that depends on the people who are commuting in, like I said. But there are more than 20 million cars and motorbikes in the city. That's a little imbalanced. So the root problem is a different thing. Too many vehicles for the people who live here. So Nina, like one problem, I think it's too easy to get credit to buy a motorbike, right? Sometimes you pay like $5 or the equivalent, and you can get a motorbike. So yes, it's a necessary, I think, for many people, a way to get around, but I think we need to get to the root problem, is my point.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of vehicles and motorbikes that are on the road that are motorbikes for hire. Like what they call them, private taxis or private, like the Grab and the Gojek.
And that's okay, because they're alleviating.
That is a very important and convenient part of the system.
And they will be exempt, the officials say, from this electronic road pricing.
But I wonder how they'll implement that, because some people have private cars, so they're not full-time Grab or Gojek drivers, but on the side they do pick up passengers.
Yeah.
I personally know people that that when I've ridden in Grab or Gojek cars, and then they would talk. And they would say like, oh, I have a main job, and this is what I do on the side. So their car is not actually registered as a full-time Grab or Go car.
And if we go back to the ride-sharing principle, that's what it is. Someone owns a vehicle, goes to a point B from point A, and may offer that
carpool,
carpool for someone else for a fee. I mean, that's the whole idea. So it's going to be very difficult to distinguish
which one is the official ones.
And that goes back to, as I said earlier, mindset. People want to have to help and solve the problem, not just get around the new system, right? And in Singapore, I think most people adhere to the systems.
Yeah. If we're going to keep comparing to Singapore, one thing we have to remember is that Singapore is actually a planned city.
Yeah, of course there's major differences.
So the streets are planned as well.
Right.
And,
in Jakarta is, I think, a previous governor, one of the first governors, Ali Sadikin, said it was actually just a large kampung. They just grew into a city.
A large village,
a large village going into a city. So urban planning is horrible, and then
so a lot of streets where people live.
Right, and then we don't really distinguish between residential to commercial, and and it's going to be very tough actually to organize a disciplined public transportation system.
And that comes to people, following the rules and trying to help the situation. In Japan, another example, to get away from Singapore, you must prove that you have a parking space. You must give a certificate before you can buy a car. That's kind of an antiquated thing now, but I understand. But that's how they manage.
Sense.
That's how they manage to keep cars off the streets.
Where's the parking space supposed to be before you
in their home, near their home.
Okay.
To have a car to
But they
keep.
also have parking spaces for each of the public transportation depots, right? So people drive to places.
Park and ride, similar. But I think, to wrap this up, it seems to me that with more mass transit being built and more legs going out north and west, and buses, the bus system works as well as it can with the limitations, although it's always packed, as you see at the bus stations. I think we're moving toward the right direction, and if we have to catch up, at least we're doing things. Because I know other places that mass transit systems are still being thought about, let alone being deployed. So it seems we're going to get better, hopefully in the near future. Would you have some optimism like that, ladies?
Hopefully, but it's sad along the way. Looking at a couple of neighborhoods that I frequent now, have had rows about exactly that people now can afford to have cars, but they don't have parking space, so they park their cars
in front
on the public
house,
on the public
street.
roads that other people use, and that's created rows among the neighbors.
You mean illegally? Illegal parking or legal?
Well,
I guess
the way
they're parking in
Indonesians
front
look
of their
at it,
house.
it's in front of my house. I can do it. It doesn't matter if it's going to affect other people. That's
but it's
their
on
mindset.
the road, and so people passing by are dodging all these cars on already a very small road.
Okay, let us have hope.
Yeah.
Well, I think there needs to be a plan, and we can hope that the plan goes
ERP
well.
is supposed to be a plan moving toward that.
It's not a good plan.
Hot Indo will continue shortly with double duty. Can a cabinet minister also handle the duties of running professional soccer?
I love Indonesia. I love the food. Yummy. Wow. I'm gonna hunt for ingredients. Now I'm ready to cook. Let's go to the kitchen. It's done. Let's meet to eat.
Foodiepedia on the Indonesia channel.
Hi, I'm Handi Kurniawan and I'm watching the Indonesia channel in Hong Kong.
Hi, I'm Rory Hee. You're watching the Indonesia channel, the home of good sport.
I'm Trần Minh Ngân of VCCTV Net Việt in Hanoi.
I'm Thairat Thumya of Thailand's Thairat TV in Bangkok.
I'm Monica Sambodet from the National Television of Cambodia in Phnom Penh.
I'm Raymond Go of Malaysia's TV3 in Kuala Lumpur.
I'm Glenda Chong of Singapore's Channel News Asia.
I'm Raisa Chantami of the Indonesia channel at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta.
This is your weekly look into the dynamic Southeast Asia region.
ASEAN Today on the Indonesia channel.
The Best of Bali takes viewers on a special guided tour of the treasures of the island of the gods.
Well, the romantic dinner is beautiful.
The Best of Bali, only on the Indonesia channel.
You're watching Hot Indonesia with Linda, Nina, and me. Here's hot topic number 2, double duty. He's the Minister of State-Owned Enterprises, responsible for the country's oil company, airline, and others. Last week, Erick Thohir ran for and was elected chairman of the Indonesian Football Association, the PSSI, which oversees professional leagues. He vowed to clean up the sport and make it safe for every fan to attend and enjoy games. Of course, this comes 4 months after the second worst soccer stadium tragedy in history, when 131 people were killed in a stampede at a game in East Java. Linda, noble goals from the new soccer chief, but you know, if I remember, a cabinet minister is pretty much a full-time job.
Right, and then not to mention that immediately after being elected, he announced 3 goals for him to achieve. 1 is supporter management. 2, the improvement of training facilities. And 3, improvement of the performance of the national team. Each of those is
Pretty
already
major,
a very
yeah.
lofty objective, you know, and then
And long term.
Yeah, it's not a quick fix. You're
no,
right.
so interestingly though, there was another minister, the sports and youth minister, ran for the same position but didn't get enough votes, and he's now elected to be the deputy of PSSI.
Zainuddin Amali, yeah.
Interestingly though, he's only going to serve as a deputy chairman of PSSI, you know, and he decided to resign from his ministerial post.
Maybe he'll do the day-to-day, since he's
Maybe he's
really
not confident that he could do both.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that
He can
he
do both,
knows what's the stake at hand, that it would be impossible to do 2 jobs at the same time, and Erick Thohir doesn't seem to want to give up one or the other, you know, so.
2 very important jobs.
Yes, I know, and then, so why run in the first place to be the chairman of PSSI?
Well, I have an idea. I have an idea on that.
I know, we all have an idea why,
Well,
you
okay,
know,
but-
we
no,
all
no.
have an idea why, but.
Let's do some comparisons again. For example, in other countries, like let's say the U.S., you'd never see like the labor secretary running the NBA, which is this is what it's comparable to that. But as you said, Linda, the president seems okay with the situation,
That's what he said.
and he said just time management. Time management is the key. You know, in their own jobs, they can't seem to find enough time to solve their own problems. But let's take him at his word. Nina, are you okay with this?
I think he's the right face for the job, in the sense that he did manage the Asian Games, so he does have experience in managing sports and things like that on a large scale.
But that's one
I think-
event, though.
And I think if he wants to win the hearts of the people,
Oh,
this is the right direction to go
Sure,
because
for 2024.
because soccer, football is
Well,
definitely
and you
a
know,
people's sport.
he owns some interests in sports clubs, or his family
He
does.
did.
His son
He did.
runs
Yes.
the club in Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has, and that's almost a conflict to me. But anyway, go on. Sorry.
Well, so I think Jokowi does support his position because he knows that he's the right man for the job. Now, whether or not he can fully and properly manage both roles, obviously there's going to be some slack in one or the other unless he's just the face. He's just the face and the one monitoring, and there's the people below him that are actually managing.
And that's why I think the sports minister may be doing the heavy lifting, and Eric's Mr. Thohir is the authority, because I understand, and my thought on why this happens, how the sport can benefit from him being the chief, because with his authority and mandate and direct line to the president, obviously he has the presidency here, issues such as security, match fixing, and others can be addressed and maybe solved more satisfactorily because he has the power, right?
And I think
which
on an
previous-
international level, he has some sort of recognition as well. So
Yeah, so with this country's love of the sport, Linda, I think it's a priority mission, and maybe that's why they put him on this.
I have no argument about that. I think we were talking about whether or not he could do both jobs.
Yes, true.
equally
No, but I'm saying
well at
that's
the same
why
time.
maybe a sitting minister was asked, or he thought he could add to, or really help the sport if he truly believed that.
I think he's got bigger agenda than just taking
And
care
what is
of
that?
the sportsman. 2024.
Okay.
man of the people.
Well, he's been talked about, and I think you're alluding to, Linda, the political ambitions of many people, including this minister. Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Okay, and his name has been mentioned as a possible vice presidential candidate, right?
Soccer, football in Indonesia is the best, fastest way to get into the hearts and minds of at least the male, from the age of 18 to 78.
Or even younger, but for
But they won't
voting
be able
purposes.
to vote. But they won't be able to vote.
And a lot of ministers do double duty this way in other sports, right?
Oh yeah. Other sports, less popular sports.
Badminton,
rowing. Here's the thing, though. Interestingly, for me, what if he was not going to achieve these lofty objectives in
I don't think
2
he
years'
needs to.
time?
I think he just
No,
needs to
no,
do
hear me
maybe
out.
one or two great things, and
hear
people
me
will
out.
love him.
And this is a
anyways.
four-year
out.
term, so it'll
Hear me
extend
out.
beyond
Hear me
his
out.
minister
Hear
post.
me out. 2024 is just next year. He's building his reputation. What if, God forbid, something even worse than Kanjuruhan were to happen or something? That would actually hurt his chance. And if I might point out, there's a difference between organizing a large sporting event like Asian Games. It's a one-time thing. You have an end goal. It's going to happen 18 of August 2018. After that, done.
So you're saying he's taking a chance?
But no. But it's different than actually running an organization. Running organization is a longer term, with no a finite point. There's a difference. So if you want to compare Asian Games and you compare it to this bidding for World Cup, yes, okay. But running the organization has less to do with just throwing sporting event. They're two different things. One is like running for a marathon, and the other
So
is
your
running for
point is it
sprints.
requires specific expertise and time.
And focus. And dedication. And waking up every morning thinking, okay, this is a dull day, but the show must go on.
So I think the duties at the state-owned enterprise division will hurt more,
Yes.
because he has to focus this and get results, because he said if there's a political side to this,
And there's more
he has
money
a
and
year.
popularity involved.
Well, that's how, like Linda said, you get noticed and instant results. Yeah, being an SOE minister is kind of, it's not that sexy for a lot of people, right? But again, I said this is a 4-year post, so he has 4. If he's really serious, he'll stay on it for 4 years and solve the problems instead of just being a minister for 1 more year. If there's no reshuffle, right? And there might be.
It's a good next step for him.
Yeah, well, whatever that step is too, right? Where you're stepping into. Okay, Hot Indo will continue. More is ahead with deep fried dessert. Why this Indonesian favorite is at the top of the latest global list.
Produk lokal memang handal, kreasi lokal You're watching the Indonesia channel, hot programs, cool people.
I'm Caitlin Turner, and welcome to Yoga Bliss. Exhale, reaching down to triangle pose. Roll your knee out and up to the sky, breathing here.
Yoga Bliss, only on the Indonesia channel. This is the Indonesia channel.
You are watching iPop Playlist.
iPop on the Indonesia channel.
You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Hot topic number 3, deep fried favorite. The online website tasteatlas.com is out with rankings of the world's best specialty desserts. And out of 100 entries, at number 1 is the common Indonesian snack, pisang goreng or fried banana. Taste Atlas gave it 5 out of 5 stars. At number 2 is Italy's bomboloni, a filled donut. You know, my favorite is, and it was on the list, is the Portuguese malasadas, which I grew up with eating in Hawaii. It's kind of a sugar-coated donut, no hole. So Nina, pisang goreng, you like it?
Actually, yes. When I was in Singkawang a few weeks back, and the way that they serve it is they actually put srikaya jam on top of that. Not that it needs it, but that was just like an extra something interesting that I've never had before. But
there are many kinds, you're saying, many types.
Yeah, many different regions in Indonesia, they have pisang goreng in their special way, and I think that's really interesting. When I was a kid, we used to eat it when they would slice it and it like fans out instead of just the one.
So again, it's for those who don't know, it's you take a regular banana and you can either fry it without batter or with batter. And
usually with
and
batter.
actually, even in the eastern part of Indonesia, you know, you go to Manado, Ambon, they would actually do that with chili. So they will fry
a little spice, right? No, that's nice.
They will fry banana on its own, you know, without any seasoning, and then you put just like
sambal on it.
Chili.
Yeah.
That's how they take.
I think the combination of the soft banana inside and the crispy outside kind of makes, that's why a lot of people voted for it.
And then it's savory and salty at the same time.
Yeah, that's a good point. At number 7, just so another favorite of mine and many people on the Taste Atlas list is churros, which many restaurants, the Spanish breadstick kind of covered.
Where do you get the churros here? Because I mean, you get them at the cinema, but they're not very good.
No. Don't buy nothing is good at the cinema.
There used to be,
except for popcorn.
There used to be a very good chain here for about 3 years, but they didn't succeed. Not enough people. They used to have a little stall outside chain laundry. I think they had a corporation. I used to buy them.
But what is your favorite deep fried dessert then?
Oh,
is it
donut.
A donut, just a
Oh,
regular
I mean,
donut.
like glazed donut, like the
the
proper
bologna
glazed
is very
donut.
nice.
Krispy Kreme, all the
Oh
regular.
no, the cake donut. You know the difference, right, between just like a donut
Is this
and
an
a cake
advertisement?
donut?
No, I'm
We're
there.
gonna name
I'm there
some
every
names
week.
here, okay.
This
No,
is
it's
non.
the dough. It's the dough. He mentioned the brand, I didn't. But the cake donut is
We
a
get
type of a
nothing from
dough.
What's it called? The
A cake donut.
cake
So
donut.
the
The dough
dough is a cake
is a
dough.
cake.
Okay, so it's what, thicker and softer, or?
It was
More
it was
dense,
it
I
was
would suppose,
thicker
yeah.
and it's actually sweeter in
And
a
who
way.
sells that?
Oh well, the brand that you mentioned did carry that at the beginning when they entered Indonesia. They no longer do that, unfortunately. But in the U.S., they still do. And if you want to have a cake donut in Indonesia, actually the oldest brand ever, American Donut, which no longer survived the pandemic.
American Donut. That's the name of the brand, right? Yeah.
That's the name, yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
if you go to PRJ, the Jakarta Fair, that was like the staple. You go to Jakarta Fair, you get American Donut, and they only serve cake donuts.
Is there icing or it's just cake in the shape of a
Oh,
donut?
they have everything on the top, but just the dough is the
It's
cake donut.
more dense
Bring
and
some.
chewy.
Yeah.
Bring
Like I
some.
said, they didn't survive the pandemic.
Well, we got to make some.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the food fair is like once a
Everyone
year.
should try pisang goreng. That's the point. Okay, it is feedback time now, and Hungry Who's posted this on Instagram on the death sentence for a police general who murdered a young officer. The real question is, has anyone who lost their appeal been executed? And Lisa had this to say about the pro-independence hostage taking in Papua. Negotiation or referendum is the best solution. It will not kill anyone. Here's how to contact us with your feedback. Email at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Hot Indonesia or Indonesia Channel Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Final words, Linda.
I was sick last week and I couldn't do anything else except watching TV. And it was good documentary. It was good biopics, a lot of good biopics that I watched, from 9/11 settlement claim to what really happened with Jay Leno and David Letterman to get the Tonight Show. And I wonder, how come Indonesia, with so many good stories and great history, we haven't been able to do good biopics?
Yeah.
We should be able to do that, and I think we would kick ass Hollywood, because we get so much crazier stuff going around in this country just the past 20 years alone. My final word.
Final words, Nina.
Well, it's been raining a lot and a lot of people have been falling sick, so if you want to keep your immune system up, make sure you get lots of sunshine and some good exercise and really take care of your health.
And my final words. Today marks 1 year when Russia invaded Ukraine, with Vladimir Putin saying the goal was to demilitarize and denazify its neighbor. He likely thought it would be a short conflict with his massive advantage in weapons and manpower. But with human willpower and help from allies, Ukraine has held strong. I join others in wishing this war over as quickly as possible. Here in Indonesia, I will attend a fundraising event for Ukraine's women and children this weekend. And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. For Linda Ibrahim and Karenina Sani, I'm Dalton Taranaka in Jakarta. Please join us again next time.